Hey, everybody. Thanks. Joe Mishik here, United Pool Association podcast. We've got another topic to discuss. We're going to be talking about virtual chapters and chapter meetings and what's important and why it's a critical thing that Steve and I want to talk about today. So I'll throw it over to Steve.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Steve Homer, Vice President of UPA, and we're going to talk about chapters, like Joe says. And I just let me give a little background to this stuff of how this stuff started. I mean, this chapter business started in the late '60s when guys were getting together for vacation route coverage, sick route coverage, and insurance. And so they kind of got into chapters so they could cover each other's vacations or sick route times. And as the things go along, well, that's 50 years ago, and things have evolved since then. And, there's other things that have popped up. The chapter motif was the same thing for 40 years. That was the only way to do it. And about 10 years ago, different types of insurance became available. Personally, I mean, I've gone over all these policies with our insurance broker, the great Sean Reardon, and I still say that UPA insurance is the best for the money you pay. It's just the best, no matter what you pay for. It's the best coverage. But other people say, I'm tired of going to these chapter meetings. I'm going to go to one of these independents out here. I get insurance for that will cover me for swimming pool maintenance repair, and I don't have to go to these dumb chapter meetings, be bored to death. And I get that. Some chapters meetings are bad. I mean, I've been to a few in my day, and they are not fun. But the other ones are done really well. But as time has gone on and people get other options, in UPA, we've kind of try to evolve into something here. And what we've come up with is the virtual chapter. Now, the virtual chapter for UPA is, yes, you come on, you auto pay the $67 a month out of your account for the $2 million, $4 million in coverage. And what we do is we want to send you, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 emails a month, when it will be something like maybe a video where Sean is explaining the insurance to you a little bit. Maybe a video on water chemistry from Miranda. Maybe we get something from Jandy and send over there. So you are getting information. The other thing we ask you to do is, I mean, and the younger guys are more on Facebook than the older guys, but we ask you to join Jason Broswell's group, Swimming Pool Industry Workers and Pool Pros Only. Now, on that, yeah, I got it for the first time. I can't remember that one to save my life, but I did today. So anyway, what they're doing there, that's an ongoing chapter meeting all day, every day. And you can participate or not participate. You can passively read it. And guys are popping up nightmare pictures they see. They have problems that, what do you guys do for this? What do you do for that? Here's an equipment setup I just plumbed in. What do you guys think? Is it got problems or not? Sorry, I'm still nursing this cold. So if I got to go mop my nose off, you get it. People set up these equipment setups. Hey, how can I improve my installation here? Guys will say, well, I wouldn't use a Street 90 there, or I would do this or that. And guys are all learning from each other. So in the end, I think that the chapter paradigm, the whole chapter model might be kind of going away in a sense. However, there are guys who like to get together. Night before last, I had my chapter meeting. I know Joe runs a chapter. And we like getting together. We like seeing each other. We had Jandy come out and speak, and they talked about all their new stuff and what they're doing. It was a fun time. We enjoyed it. We all have a sandwich together, and it was outstanding. But I get that some people aren't up for that, so that's why we came up with this virtual chapter. So if you want to join the virtual chapter, if you want to hear more about it, you can go on the UPA website, get the phone number, call me up, and I'll talk about it. I'll put you in touch with Sean. He can tell you about the insurance. It's a pretty simple deal. So,
yeah, I think that one of the things you mentioned at the very, very beginning, and I think it's probably one of the reasons why the chapters were formed and created, was probably, my guess, especially back in the 50s and 60s when some of these were just getting started, would have been probably due to insurance. Having a group of guys get together for the insurance purposes of having, a group collective to be self-insured. But I think the greater thing, as far as when I started 20 years ago, you were well before me. But the aspect of being a part of other pool guys and gals that you can gain knowledge and information from was definitely a big key. But I think the other thing is the fact that you can actually speak with the reps at the meetings, because at our meetings, we usually would have anywhere from 8 to 15 vendors show up, which is a good amount of vendors. And I always felt like I left there, and I've always said this to guys, whether I've been on the board or just been a part of a chapter, and whether a guy's thinking about joining, I said, you're going to find out information from vendors before anybody else does. Because usually, if something just happened within that week, or they just got a press release and they're releasing a new product, whatever the case is, you're going to probably be the first people in the industry to find out about it. I know Pool Corp came out, this was probably 4 or 5 years ago. They had kind of a coupon program that they had come out with, and they mailed you coupons in the mail, or they had flyers and stuff like that they put together. And literally the next day after our meeting, because the guy I think handed some out at our meeting, I show up at the counter at an SCP, and I said, hey, I want to take part in this, and I want to get the discount. I want to buy this product. And the guy didn't even know about it. He's like, I've never even seen this before. So it's usually, I've always felt that the chapter meetings are very important. But this virtual chapter thing is very key. I think it's the next wave, if you will, in the industry. It's needed. It's going to compete very nicely with the associations that don't meet, on a chapter meeting basis. You're just part of a insurance group, for lack of a better term. But I think it's going to compete well nicely with those. So
I agree, and you're going to get first quality insurance, nothing second rate. You're not getting insurance,
right.
And one thing about UPA, our insurance is the best. The program is run by pool guys. So as pool guys look at this insurance, we know where we need to improve it if it needs improvement. We know where we don't get off track by getting coverages we don't care about. I mean, there's plenty of crap like that going out there. We have coverages in front of you which are sound, oh, that sounds great, but when would you ever actually use it? It's pretty far-fetched. I mean, we try and keep it simple and everything. So no, I think this is going to work out great. And of course, with UPA, all we ask is that, use your head, don't have a bunch of stupid claims. And that's always the thing. Pay your premiums, don't have stupid claims. And now with auto pay, you're going to pay your premiums or you're going to be dropped. So yeah, it's a simple way to go. But I still think, the chapter model works for a lot of guys, but that doesn't work for other ones. So, there's got to be a way for these guys to go. I mean, we've lost guys that just say, oh, I just hate going to my chapter meeting. I'm just going to go because I don't want to be stuck at this meeting. I get that. I mean, guys are volunteering, trying to put these chapter meetings on. Some guys are better at it than others. I mean, if you're running a chapter, you got to find a way to make it interesting. I mean, look at you. You're getting 10 vendors or 15 vendors to show up and to pepper these guys with tons of information. Hey, that's a chapter meeting worth going to. You show up to a meeting and you got to pay $20 for a meal, and I really don't have anything to say. Okay, eat your meal and go. Well, yeah, that's not too fun. That's not going to draw many people, and I get that. But yeah, you don't
want to waste a lot of guys' times. I think the other thing that makes some of these chapter meetings outside of the virtual meetings very important is the sick route point of it. So obviously the insurance is very important, but you're going to get that at the virtual chapter. I think the thing that's kind of bids well, and this is something that you had mentioned, because the chapter that I just started out here in Scottsdale, North Phoenix area, we're one of the very first. It's kind of groundbreaking, but we're doing a paid sick route structure, which is pretty awesome, pretty exciting, pretty groundbreaking as far as, the chapter that we left wasn't too keen on us, maybe starting a program like this, but we felt like it was the only way to go that's going to move the industry forward. And I can send anybody the information they want to see about it, but basically what it comes down to is if you go down, you're going to be paying guys to take over your pools on a sick route rather than doing them for free. So I know that's always been the model. I know a lot of chapters in California, whether they're UPA or IPSA, because I was with IPSA for many years. That structure had always been kind of a free service. You can get reimbursed on chems, definitely reimbursed for repairs and stuff like that, but never for your time and your effort. This model puts into practice anywhere from a $15 to a $20. We have it kind of broken down on two different catastrophic versus non-catastrophic, and I won't get into those details right now, but you can get paid for your time to take care of these pools, which in my opinion, it should be done that way.
I think
because it's
I
one of
truly
those
think that's a
things
genius thing, Joe, that you guys are doing that, because that is what kills chapters, is this route coverage. You get guys that come in like, I was in a chapter, oh yeah, I got to get my shoulder done because I got a click in it. And they don't say anything till all of a sudden one day you get a phone call. Yeah, he's going to be out for 4 months. He's got a couple of route cards, or let me email you or text you a couple of addresses where you got to go. Then you come and find out the guy's been planning this thing for 6 months, and all of a sudden it's like, well, I couldn't get into the doctor till June, and now we're going to be doing your pools from June to October. Oh my God, why don't you warn us? I mean, there's so many trappings with this stuff. I mean, we had one guy fell off his dirt bike, broke his hand. It's like, and then you start thinking, do we really want to do route coverage for guys that are involved in these kind of hazardous sports?
Right.
Which, after that, when guys come in the chapter, I'd say, are you involved in any extreme sports at all? Skydiving? Are you base jumping? I mean, yeah, because if you are, I'm not going to vote to have you in, because you're probably going to get hurt. But being paid for what you do puts a whole new light on things. I think that's just genius.
Well, it's, at the end of the day, and one of the reasons, and I know people out there that are listening that are probably thinking, I don't know if I agree with this, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, we're here to save your business. We're not here for you to make the best income profitability while you're down, because most of the time that's what happened. Now, honestly, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I would love for guys to have the best months of their entire career while they're sitting at home recovering. But the catch-22 to that is, yes, you're down for 4 months, you recover, your business is intact, you made the most money that you've ever made in 4 months because you weren't having expenses like gas and a lot of times chemicals, because guys, for the better part of as long as I've been in this industry, guys just say, hey, take care of me when I go down. So chemicals have always been kind of, treated as no charge. We just accept what we used, kind of move on with our day. I know there's been guys that have been out there that have, said, yeah, please reimburse me for tabs or whatever. But for the most part, that gets assumed in the, you don't owe me anything. And outside of like repairs and stuff like that, guys would pay for that. So, you're sitting at home recovering for 3 or 4 months, making the best money you've ever made. And then at the end of the day, all these guys that took care of your pools got nothing. And I think it's just been one of these things that have gone on for way too long. And at this point, and the reason I say all this is because we want you to come back to a business, even if you elected to have a surgery, it was a planned surgery. We have a different structure set up if it's like catastrophic, like you get into a car accident, nothing was planned, everything happened suddenly. That's a different kind of structure that we have put in place. But for the most part, we want to save your business. We're not here to save your business and then just do it for free. Does that make sense?
No, so I think that makes total sense, because you are looking to save the guy's business, and anybody who is in business should have some rainy day money set aside in case something catastrophic happens, like you get hurt. I mean, if you don't have any rainy day money set apart, set money aside, and so you can pay people to save your business. Right. And I think this is what breaks up a lot of chapters, because the majority of guys in chapters will
guys get burnt out for doing it for, I mean, it's
4 to 6 months, they do burn out. But most guys will do it.
Yeah.
But there's always a bunch of guys who have a problem, or there's a problem pool, or, oh, that guy didn't show up. And it's like, well, wait a minute, I lost that account. You didn't show up. Are you going to pay me? Oh, I'm going to pay this guy to do the pool so I don't have to. It becomes so complex and convoluted. When you pay for it, then all of a sudden there's all these accounts up for grabs. So you got a young guy that's starting out. And he goes, man, I got time. I'll do your pools because I want to make that 15,
Yeah.
20 bucks a pool because I could use the money. So I'll take over 6 or 8 of these pools where you say, hey, take mine. It's fine. I don't want them because I'm busy enough. I mean, then now you got something to barter with the other guys in the chapter because there's something of value on the table.
That is actually one of those funny things that happened that was not really expected. It just kind of fell into place when we put this into place, was the idea that, yeah, you could, if you didn't want to take care of your pool and somebody else did, they're getting reimbursed for it. So now, I mean, nobody's going to trade free pools. That was kind of the joke, Hey, will you do mine? Oh yeah, I'll do them for free. So you start to kind of see the, I won't even use corruption. That's not the right word, but you could see like the strife that guys would have. And I think the bigger thing is it wasn't a big deal if you had like one of these in the spring and one of these in the fall. You kind of did them, and you got them over with and kind of went about your business. But when these started falling 3 or 4 back to back to back to back, you're constantly doing pools for seemed like ages. And a lot of lack of respect, a lot of lack of communication. That was another thing. Although communication doesn't go without being said. So,
that's right.
That's one of the things we want to be on top of is communicating. We had guys that would go down for 3 or 4 months and not say a word to the guys doing their pools, which is especially in the old system. If you're doing them for free and you're not even communicating with the guys or gals that are doing your pools, what does that say about you? And that was a really hard thing to, kind of deal with and accept. And it just didn't, some of us, it left a bad taste in our mouth. So we're excited about this. We feel like getting back to the chapters and virtual chapter, this is a step in the right direction to keep some of these chapters that have been around for a very, very long time intact and kind of moving them forward. Obviously, meeting with reps is a big deal. They kind of like that interaction. They like to be able to show up, show off a product. You can actually touch it, feel it, tear it apart, see it firsthand. That is something you don't get from the internet, especially on people's groups or pages. So I think there's a benefit to both. The virtual chapter is amazing. I think that's a big key, especially if you're in an area that maybe there isn't a chapter to join. Well, now you can join UPA.
Well, that's right.
Be a part
all 50
of
states.
The great insurance.
Yeah. We're talking to people in Florida, talking to people in Texas. I mean, there's a lot of people that showing interest in this virtual chapter. So that's a great deal. And I love the paid sick route. If you guys want to know any more about paid sick route, you can always message Joe here on the UPA podcast Facebook page. Because Joe's kind of breaking ground here, and as he does, he'll share what he finds out, the trappings of it, and maybe you guys want to implement it yourself in your own chapter. So don't be afraid to get in there and ask questions. Joe's a pretty open guy.
Yeah, this is a new platform that we've pretty much just launched this 19. So one of the things that we want to we actually haven't done one yet, but once we get one done and put it in place and I can share kind of the details a little bit more, and like you said, the shortcomings or the pitfalls that we have with it, I'll be happy to do that because we're definitely going to probably work through some things we maybe haven't even seen yet.
Of course.
But
well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So
I think we're both excited about what's going on in UPA.
Yeah. So virtual chapter, paid sick route, anything, contact Joe and I. You can do it on the Facebook page, and we'll tell you everything you guys need to know about it and help you out any way we can. So good.
Cool. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the flip side.